I said, this is not a terrorist attack. I got on TV, I said, it is a terrorist attack and it's radical Islam. And I just assumed the opposite. Because I know these people. I was on Glenn Beck's show when Joe Pag was subbing, and right after the Boston Marathon attack, he said, who do you think did it out of radical Islam? Well, you can't say that. Yeah, I can. They target people. Look at the bomb they use. Shrapnel. They're trying to kill as many people as they possibly can. It's got to be radical Islam. The only thing I was puzzled, why didn't they kill themselves? Because they were planning a second attack in Times Square where they would have killed themselves. Right again. Benghazi, I got it in my I Love Me office. We have a $700,000 facility at the law school. We've raised with private donations. I've got the front page of the San Antonio Express News. First article, above the line, first name, first everything is me. It says, terrorism expert says, attack in Benghazi is deliberate attack, not video. How did I know that? I just assumed the opposite. As soon as I heard video, I went, deliberate attack. And people always say, wow, you must really have it going on. You must really have inside strings into everything. I just smiled. Yeah, I got the inside spring. They delete that off the video here so people know. And Benghazi was during the election phase. Obama had attacked Libya, which is stupid. He had the legal right to do it. Legally, Obama as a commander-in-chief could launch a war without Congress's approval. That was legal. But it was dumb, in my opinion. Gaddafi was in his cage. Gaddafi had given us his biological and chemical weapons right after 2003 because he saw what we did to the Iraqi army. He was very scared. He had all his Islamists locked up in his jails. He was a bad guy, but they're all bad guys. We could deal with him. So Obama and the European bedwetters over there, we're going to bomb Gaddafi and take him out of power. Brilliant idea. Now all the Islamists are out of jail, heavily armed. The country's fallen to Hades, and it's a worse nightmare than ever before. But remember, that was his second term was coming up, and they attacked our Benghazi embassy. It can't be a bad Obama move. So therefore, he was absent without leave. Nobody could find the president. Where is he? Where is he? What is he? He didn't want to make a decision. Now, we could have got a Greyhound bus there to save those people in time. And that's, of course, a joke. What we could have done is we had the air assets to go in and kill everything within 3 blocks around the annex, just level it all. And I know Pt2 was saying, well, we couldn't do that because we might kill some people. You think? Kill them. They will not be using houses around our embassies or annexes in the future. They attack an American, we kill 10,000. That's how you solve the problem. But nobody had the guts to do it, so the people were expendable. And that's the truth about Benghazi. They didn't want to do anything because it ran against the narrative that, Al-Qaeda's on the run, Libya was a great decision. It was a disastrous decision. It was an absolutely disastrous decision.
Go ahead.
Next question.
Yes, sir. I've got a couple of things that I'd like to ask about. I've got a little bit of understanding about Sunni and Shiites.
Yes.
Realizing that Iran is Shiite and Iraq was a majority Shiite nation dictated by Sunni.
Right.
Did any of the commanding officers that you know of or have first-hand knowledge of ever try to advise that whether it's bullets or ballots, when they vote, it's going to be a Shiite-ruled nation, and civil war is likely to be the result? That's the first question I've got for you. The second one is, has there been any movement, since we can't have school prayer, to get the proselytizing imams out of our prisons?
Yeah. Well, the first part is, this is the 7th edition of my book. I was opposed to going into Iraq in 2003. That was a dumb idea by President Bush. So see, I said President Bush is dumb too at equal time. Not a good idea. Because you had that fault line between the Kurds, the Shiites, and the Sunnis. And again, if you're going to go in there, it's going to be a disaster. Now, President Bush finally got it right when he did the surge. In Fallujah, we had to kill 7,000 the old-fashioned way, and that's what got stability. As long as we were there, we kept the lid on. And there was some hope that you could get a coalition between the 3 factions. But that country right now will never be put back together, ever. Never be put back together. It's not going to happen. And again, self-determination. If they want to, break out and form new nations, then so be it. That's what we did. I don't deny that right to other nations that want to form their own country. And then the second part about the prison system, what happens in the prison system, quite frankly, and I've been in the prison system, I was down in Florida just recently. a lot of the wardens do not turn away the Islamic imams that go into the prison, because from their perspective, they calm the people down. They give them all the Islamic rhetoric. They give them the stuff where you follow the rules, you obey the pillars of Islam, and they can control them better. So from the warden's perspective, those guys aren't out there gangbanging and stabbing each other anymore. They're kind of mild and meek, but they're getting indoctrinated. So when they come out of the prison, like Nola in Oklahoma, they're radicalized. But the truth is, the wardens are actually like it because it calms them down. Now, whether they were teaching them Buddhism or whatever it is, they like anything that will calm them down and make them easier to control. So they wear the Batman costumes and walk around and chant and count the beads and all this other stuff, but it's a calming effect on them. They look off into space and whatever they're doing, the prayer runs and all that other nonsense, in my opinion. I think they're dead wrong, but if you want to do that, that's fine. We'll find out who's wrong on the other side. But it's a work system. And religion has a powerful force on people, whatever the religion is. It does calm people down, it brings them together, and that's why Marx says religion is the opium of the people. And I define religion as the work system. When you're working in that system and we're all just getting together and doing things, it's a soothing effect. That's why wardens allow it, basically, if you want to know the truth.
I got two quick questions.
Sure.
The first one is, what can we do or help on a local level at the basic threat? And then my second question is more on the national level, is as a nation, what's the best way of going about confronting this problem other than carpet bombing the Middle East? But my thought was, as a nation, confront the religion itself, Saudi Arabia and in Iran,
Yeah.
and just put it back into the face, saying you are the problem with all this, not the radical guys running around in the Middle East. You guys are the problem.
Yeah, my view is that as an American, wherever you come from in the world, your culture is Anglo-Saxon culture. That's your law, that's your way of life. If you can't buy that, you don't come. You're barred from coming into this country. So every Middle Eastern country is basically a dictatorship. Many of them operate under Sharia law. I would not allow those people into my country unless I was 100% sure that they had disavowed all that nonsense in terms of Sharia law. The European Court of Human Rights, which is the leading international court in the world, said that Sharia law is incompatible with the basic precepts of democracy. So why do you let them in? You don't let them in. Unless you adopt our Anglo-Saxon culture, you're not welcome. Put out the do not welcome sign, that's it. I would limit the number of immigrants from those countries that come from dictatorships because they've been brainwashed. Many of the people that stream in here from China, they think Mao was a great humanitarian leader and capitalism is evil. And it's the same phenomenon you see here in the South. We have a lot of people from up north that have moved down to Florida and Virginia. We call it occupied Virginia now. And that's great that you're coming down south, but they're bringing their ideas with them of socialism and internationalism. And they're destroying the fabric of, what was once a pretty conservative bloc. And that's a problem. So I think it's, again, I'm not big on making America a homeland for the world. I'd make sure that was done and done correctly. But if you want to worship, God in a way that's X, Y, and Z, that's fine. When they try, but see, Islam, true Islam is more than a religion. They want to control everything in terms of, politics, in terms of your life, in terms of the law, etc., etc. And like prayer in school, folks, I'm not a big believer in prayer in school because I don't want some idiot having my kids pray 6 times to the east. Who's saying the prayer? That's your responsibility at home. To me, as a cop, I want prayer in school. I don't. I want prayer in the home. I want adults that know about God and teach those kids. I don't want some idiot teaching my kids about God because most of these people, they don't know God from straight up from straight down. So I'm not really big on, prayer in school. That's your job at home, isn't it? You can't, say, well, the school should do that or the culture. No, you do it. Anyway, prayer in public is supposed to be short. When I read my Bible, most people go on and on and on because they're trying to impress people. God's not impressed, I'm not impressed. Yes, ma'am.
We've got one here.
When Obama said no boots
alive.
Why don't they bomb the oil fields? Why don't they just take them all out?
Yeah, what you do is, again, you got to put it in the equation. I'm a nationalist. What am I going to do? ISIS cut 2 Americans' heads off. So if I was the president, I would get on TV and said, as you know, fellow Americans, ISIS has cut 2 of our American journalists their heads off. Why in the hell they were over in the first place, I don't know. It's like these people, the guy that went to North Korea. Really? And then you're captured and wonder why. Or the students that were rock climbing on the Iranian border and got captured. You think? Anyway, they chopped off 2 heads of 2 Americans. And then I would say, oh, excuse my speech, we've just killed about 5,000 of them. The bombs have already landed. They've got to pay for what they did. And then I would recall the bombers, and that's it. Because if we go over there and crush ISIS, which we could do, it's going to cost us a lot of troops. When we leave, what do you think will happen? They come right back. They come right back. So from my position, you kill 2 Americans, we'll give you a heavy price to pay. And so, that's my response. I can't reform, oh, we don't like this fellow up in Syria. Did he attack us? No. So what, you don't like him? You don't like him. There's a lot of things I don't like. Live and let live. You can't reform the world. And that's what socialists want to do. They worship at the altar of the United Nations and they think they're going to change the world. It's the devil's world. You're whitewashing the devil's world at best. What you should do, if you're a great patriot, here's what you should do. If you're a conservative, you should have an American flag outside of your house, every one of you. Because liberals don't fly American flags. That tells people certain things when they see the American flag. Then if you're really a conservative, don't fly the American flag, fly the Texas flag by itself. And then if you really want to upset them, put the rebel battle flag out there, big old 4x6. Then they'll really know where you're coming from. They'll, oh, you're a racist. I'm not a racist. Doesn't stand for racism for me. Don't let them define what you are. So everybody should be doing that at a minimum. And of course, from the biblical point of view, as you know in the book of Ecclesiastes, there was a city that was surrounded by an army, and the good Lord saved the city for one mature believer in the city. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 9. One. So God blesses the nation based on the number of born-again believers that have something up here to reflect the mind of Christ. And the more people that are in that nation that have that ability, the nation is blessed. It's called the doctrine of the pivot. And when that pivot gets small, the nation will be wiped out. We saw that with the Jewish client nations to God. 586, the Babylonians wiped them out. 721, the Assyrians wiped out the northern kingdom. 70 AD, the Romans wiped out that kingdom. Because there was no knowledge of God in the land. And it don't come from the schools. It comes from the parents. From the nuclear family, which is not Steve and John. It's one man, one woman, nuclear family, the institution of marriage, capitalism, hard work. That's the values that made us great, and that's what we need to get back to. So the revival, no politician is going to save us. It's got to be we, the people. And as I go back to my original point, at least Obama made us jump out of the water. There was no Tea Party in the Bush era. We just got to get cooked slowly. And at least we jumped out of the water because people could see, wow, this has really gone from the slow cook to the high heat. And we got out and we said no. And we rose up. And so that was a good thing. We just need to keep on, raising Cain, so to speak.
We're going to take one more question from the floor right here, and then we're starting to run out of time. But
Okay.
I'm sure he'll stay and answer your questions individually if you want to discuss them.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, we've heard on the news lately that there's ISIS training camps in Texas. Can you confirm that?
Well, they're not ISIS training camps, but there's a fellow in Pakistan. It's called the MOA, the Muslims of America. And this multi-billionaire from Pakistan has bought up large pieces of land all over this nation. There's one outside of Houston. They bought up lots of acres, and they preach radical Islamic extremism, like I explained to you tonight, jihad. They shoot guns, they wear paramilitary uniforms, they march around singing their songs, waving their flags, conquer, death from America, all this stuff. Is that illegal? Nope. Not illegal at all. It's a free country. You can shoot guns on your private property. You can put up the Nazi flag if you're an idiot. Put it up. You can say, I hate this, I hate that. Not illegal. But here's my point. Suppose the KKK bought up 100 acres outside of Houston. And they were wearing their white robes, waving the Nazi flag, and desecrating my Southern flag and shooting off guns and stuff. Do you think the people of Houston will be demanding every day that the mayor do something about it, the chief of police do something about it, the Houston Chronicle will be covering front page exposés of this organization every day to shame them out? Oh yeah, but not a peep about this huge radical Islamic camp outside of Houston because of political correctness. Because liberals do not want to stand up and confront evil. And all that's good for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. As our good pastor back there reminded us, you've got to do something. As the Lord opens the door, go for it. And again, you don't tell people how to vote. If you go to a church where they're teaching Bible doctrine, you don't need to tell them how to vote. They'll know exactly what to do. And it's not your job to tell people how to vote, just tell them to go vote. But if they understand basic biblical principles, you vote for the capitalists. You vote for the ones going to lower your taxes. You're not going to get a perfect politician, but that's the issue. Yeah, they're here amongst us. But there's no public outcry, because if you dare stand up against a Muslim, you're somehow a bigot. And I get death threats. I've gotten a lot of death threats over the years. I've even got, I debated CARE when I was on Fox News one time, and I invited these 3 guys to go out in the parking lot with me afterwards, and we discussed it further, if you know what I mean. You've got to stand up to them. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to put a bumper sticker on my car, somebody will key your car. Oh, well, then let them key it. Who cares? It's a car. Can't take it with you. And get you an old pickup truck like mine. Who cares? It has more character to it. Stand up and be counted. Put those bumper stickers on. Put the flags out. Raise Cain. Okay, well, thank you all for having me here. We have a sign-up sheet if you want to get on our monthly newsletter. It's a green sheet up there, and you can see all the stuff that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure he'll hang around and just answer your questions, but we got to respect the rules of our meeting and church time too. So.